begins to tell the imaginal cells what it's creating. It's creating a butterfly. The imaginal cells actually take the goop and the dead material of the caterpillar and create the butterfly. Now the butterfly, when it's whole, when it's got its wings, it looks beautiful, right? Each wing looks exactly the same, which is part of the mirroring effect, the butterfly effect. When that rhythm is right, when the frequency is right, it begins to eat its way. It has an enzyme that it emits from its mouth that eats its way out of the cocoon. Mm-hmm. As it eats its way out, it's strengthening itself. When it emerges, it is not related to the caterpillar. It flies where it pleases and pleases where it flies. Now check this out. Did you know that human beings have imaginal cells too? Mm. Did you know that when you go through hormesis, when you go through the test and the trial, based on what you're imagining, mm-hmm. the imaginal cells in you will move towards that destination, that telos that you are focusing on. If you're focusing on disagreeable information and being mad and angry and living in the past, you will create that. Now you become a creature. Mm. You remember those movies, the creature features? Yeah. A lot of people have become like creatures because that's what they imagine, and they weren't taught, or they haven't been to this place where they can learn the soulful science of changing the metamorphosis. That's why we're teaching the class. And this is a real class. You're going to need to get your books and your tablets. You're not just going to sit there and just get, egotistically, consciously deep, because we're going to take you through some trials and some tribulations. Right. But the butterfly, its wings flapping changes everything. Your mouth, when it's flapping, changes everything. What you say. You want to know, well, the weather's getting worse and worse. Have you noticed? Well, the weather of people, right? Whether you know it or not, your mouth, your actions, what you're eating, how you're acting, what you're wearing, who you think you are, your ego is affecting the weather on the planet. It's just not getting worse. You figure it's God. Well, God is the collection of all of us as one.
Whew. Doc, what you on tonight, Doc?
That is the collection of all of us. God is a collection of things that have creating the whole. It's holism. But you got a hole in your head because somebody shot a hole in your head and you're not ready to repair that. You're not ready to be like, a self-replicating being. Like certain reptilians and certain animals can grow a new arm. You could too if you could get your mind out your ass. Whew. This is what you're going to have to do. But a lot of folks, because we're caught and we're stuck on stupid and we're stuck on the past and we're still mad and angry and we can't get rid of this victimhood. I got one more story for you. The dragonfly. Now, we're in the year of the dragon.
Yes.
This, when I saw this, it just blew me away. Mm. The Chinese calendar, Chinese horoscope, whatever they call it.
Zodiac.
Last year, Zodiac.
Yeah.
Which means circle of animals. Mm-hmm. Says that last year was the year of the rabbit, I believe.
Yeah.
And it was about jumping around, doing a lot of stuff, making a lot of stuff. Because, rabbits, they do a lot of sexual things to make a lot more of themselves. And they're always jumping around, doing a lot, gathering. This year, they said it's the wood dragon. The dragon brings about change and transmutation. Mm. The dragon breathes fire, the fire-breathing dragon. You know who that is? That's us. Mm. I was just talking to somebody who's in Southeast Asia, and they were saying that they call I think it's the Polynesia, they call the dragon Naga. And my friend said, Naga? The Nagas are the black folks. And this person who was talking says, yes, exactly. You're the dragon people. Mm. Now, some people, well, no, we Anunnakis, and well, that's real funny. Them stories right there, they get real twisted up. Nobody knows for sure. The bottom line is that you should be breathing fire. You should have fire breath. Your words should be on fire, or you're quiet. You should be silent. You need to learn how to control your mouth, because either you're breathing fire, right? Or you got your desires out front and you're focusing on what it is you like and what you would like to be, instead of burning everything alive. You got to be able to control the fire. Fire has a lot to do with passion and desire. What are you passionate about? That should be your fire. It's a certain breathing. That's called fire breath. That warms up your triple heater in your gut, your solar plexus. So now that you have a lot of sun, that solar plexus is the sun within you, you are doing like what you do when you blow a fire. You're turning up the heat within you to move towards your goal and your desires. This is the year. This is what they say. This is the real quick thing they say on the internet. What does the year of the wood dragon mean? The Chinese horoscope for 2024 foretells a year of prosperity for the dragon. Who's the dragon? You. Symbolizing authority. Did you hear what I just said? Now, a lot of times you got to get authorized. Who's authorizing you? Who's giving you your authority? Have you given up your authority? Do you need to call your friends and have them, agree with what you're doing? That's no authority. A lot of people need to be validated by others. They need a certificate. They got to go to the wizard to get a piece of paper, right, on a dead sheep skin to give them authority so they can get some letters behind their name so they feel like they're somebody, right? Instead of being authorizing yourself and having a brand new ID. A lot of people lost their ID, had their ID stolen, and they don't even understand what the id is when you talk about, psychology, your original root self. So a lot of folks need a new certificate in this class. When you take the 3 parts of this class that we have coming up, you will receive a rebirth. Guaranteed. You're going to get it. It's going to be a document. I don't want to tell you exactly what it's called, but you're going to receive a document that you can put on your wall. And whenever you see that, the symbols on it and the energy of what it represents says, I am new. A lot of times you don't have anything to show for being new. Your authority is who you are. A lot of who you are is not who you are. It's who you've agreed to be. It's your what? It's the stuff they told you. They're references and labels, but that's not who you really are. Who you really are, you're going to have to experience that as a referent. There's a difference between a reference, a referent, and a label. This is the time of abundance. To take little, to do a... See, if you can maximize the minimum, you got power. You got 50 cents. We can show you how to turn that 50 cents into $5,000. We do it all the time. Brother Rich is doing it right now. He took whatever he had. I heard he was standing on the corner. You know what I'm saying? King Simon told me they used to stand on the corner. It would be cold. They had gloves with the fingers out. He's playing keyboards. I heard the stories.
I love how y'all framed that. Just standing on the corner.
Y'all stand on the corner. Y'all had CDs. Y'all was selling DVDs. Somebody said, well, that was VHSs. But you had your keyboard. They said wherever you went, you had a keyboard with you. I don't know how true this is, but whatever it is, you took the little bit you had to make a lot. Now you're one of the top people in this whole YouTube situation. You're to be respected all over the world, but you started with a little bit. You just didn't pop up with a silver spoon in your mouth. And what does that mean anyway? A silver spoon in your mouth? I don't even know. Is that healthy to have a silver spoon? Maybe it is. But anyway, my point is you got to be able to what? Take the little bit you have and make a lot. That means you got to be focused on a goal, and you got to be what? Always energizing your goal and get out of other people's lanes and get out of other people's business and close your mouth sometime. Learn how to say when and when to say how. Know when and know when and when to know not to be winning. And know that sometimes you don't need to win to actually get to where you go. You got to let some things go. You might need to take a loss to get ahead. Now, let's keep going. I'm almost done. It's a year of prosperity, if you say so. It symbolizes authority, abundance, and good fortune. Fortune. What the heck does that mean? That just don't mean luck. Anybody said it was the luck of the Irish? Were the Irish lucky? I keep hearing about that. I don't know. Some of these stories don't sound too lucky. But anyway, what is fortune? That means you're tuned up. You're focused. You're in oneness. You're attuned. You're atoned. You're on the right frequency moving towards your goal. You're fortuned because you are feeling it, right? Hearing it and seeing it before it happens is on the event horizon. You are attracting it because you become magnetically connected to that thing. You now are in the gluon state where you are moving towards all the things you desire, even though you're being tested. You will be tested, but you got to have good fortune. Good fortune does not mean good luck. It means that you're able to focus closely on what it is you desire, and you might need to tune up and readjust and reevaluate things every single day, because 90% of your journey will be course correction. 90% of everybody's journey is course correction. You're on an airplane. 90% of that journey is course correction. You're in an automobile. 90% of that journey is on course correction. You've got to be dialing in every day, like mixing a record, remixing your life every day. And not just think because you're drinking, you alkaline, and all of a sudden you think you got this. Because you got your hair locked up, you think you got this. No, you gotta readjust everything every single day. The wood dragon has the influence of evolution on your life. We are evolving, improving, and we're looking towards abundance because we're creating it in our mindset. Now, I gotta connect this, then I'm done. Why is it that if you read the book, The Gene Keys, and you go to Gene Key 55, which this is really deep. Gene Key 55 is called The Dragonfly's Dream. It says that we're in the time right now of the dragonfly. The Chinese zodiac says we're in the wood dragon year. The genes, which has to do with the way your genes are encoded, says that we're in the mode of the dragonfly. If you look outside, if you in the fall and even in the spring, you're going to see so many dragonflies, more than ever. People have been noticing them. What is the dragonfly all about? Transmutation. Because the dragonfly starts out as a nymph in the swamp. It's hungry. It eats everything. It'll even eat dirt, leaves, anything moving or not moving. It just eats. Eats and eats. It don't have sex. It don't have no reproductive organs, just like the caterpillar. And then all of a sudden, and the other thing about the nymph, it's a victim and a victimizer, because everything's attempting to eat it. Everything's attempting to attack it. It's tested every single day. That's why there's so many nymphs. You go under the ocean, under the swamp, these little things are everywhere. So that a few might make it. And what happens is, after the nymph goes through a certain amount of stress, and it's eaten and eaten and eaten, guess what? The imaginal cells inside the dragonfly turn on. The dragonfly is triggered and climbs up a reed or a stick. And when it gets out of the water for the first time, it can see the world outside of the water. Now, the water is murky. The water represents fear. It represents victimhood. It represents fight, flight, or fawn, which is a whole other thing we could talk about. Fawn syndrome is a whole deep thing. Maybe we'll touch on that before we go. Remind me to talk on that real quick, because I'll lock it up quick, Brother Rich. I know you got to go. When the nymph lungs for the first time fill with air, it changes. Its body cracks open. The sun hits its body. The shell falls away because it's got this protective coating, which is kind of like a shell, kind of like the shrimps and the other bottom feeders. I won't go there. And for the first time, it sees the world and is breathing air outside of the drama of the water. Its wings are crumpled up. Its body is full of the water. It uses these hydraulic pumps, and it pumps the water into its wings, the water of drama, the water of pain, of trial and tribulation and victimhood. It pumps that water into its wings, Brother Rich. Its wings expand, and then the sun hits its wings and evaporates the water, and the wings turn into like solar panels. That's why you see those colors. And now all of a sudden, the dragonfly, it flies. Do you know what dragonflies do for 2 weeks or 2.5 weeks that they live? All they do is have sex. They don't do nothing else. They eat and get busy. In fact, most of the things in nature, that's all they do. That's all most of nature is doing. Eating and reproducing and having fun doing it. It's only humans that got a lot of other stuff in between. We won't go there on this particular program. One day we'll talk about that. The dragonflies, when they come together in intimacy, they make a heart. They're lovers. They have taken the waters of victimhood and pain and trial and tribulation and used it as what? The energy that motivates them, that they use to fly on. That becomes the wind under their wings. They are actually signaling love and harmony. They're lovers. And everywhere they go, they bring love. The dragonfly. Dragons that fly. This may be where the whole concept of the dragons flying, that in ancient times, we see these big monsters. Well, if you look at them and blow it up with a microscope, you'll see these things look just like them in a way. We are going through this transmutation at this time, like the dragonfly goes through transmutation. We are going through the transmutation right now. The past right now is going to affect you only if it's in your mind. So our thing is to move away from that and go through the metamorphosis of change. So there's certain things that we're going to have to use to actually grow. It's not going to be easy. It is not easy because that dragonfly had to go through a lot to become a dragonfly. We're in the period right now where the histidine, which is histidine is one of your, let's call it amino acid. Histidine has to do with every function of your body. Everything, nothing happens. The egg cannot meet the sperm and the sperm can't meet the egg without histidine. Everything in the body needs histidine. But guess what? Histidine has a partner that protects it. It's called histamine. When you go through a histamine response, that's when you're sneezing, when you have arthritis, you have sometimes heart disease and cancer. All these things are inflammation caused by your body trying to fight or trying to balance itself or go to a state of homeostasis based on dis-ease. This is why a lot of people have mucus. Mucus, in my research, mucus is not causing disease. Mucus is trying to save you from the disease, whatever the root of the disease is. The mucus is there trying to pull that stuff out of you or cover up the area and protect it. Now, it is a symbol or it is a symptom, but it may not be what's causing the disease. You got to get to the root of it. And the root of it is what we're eating, how we're talking, how we're acting, who we're hanging with, who we're making love with, who we're in anger with, who we're fighting all the time. Are we in war? Are we warshipping? Huh? Warship means to be on a warship. When you go to work, don't go to work anymore. Don't call it work. Call it play. Call it something else. Because as soon as you say work, your immune system goes into what? Victimhood. I hate my job. I don't like to go to work. See, now you're a victim again. Now you're back down in the water like the nymph. You got to get rid of the waters, right, of victimhood to go to the next level. Are you ready to do that? Are you ready to rise? Then make sure you're in this class on Saturday. Whatever you got to do, get in the class. Tomorrow night, we're going to have this workshop free. Well, it's actually a webinar free. I'm going to talk a bit about the class, but we're going to talk about some insights that are coming through that we don't have enough time to talk about today. This is the time to really spread the good news because it is here. There's so many amazing things happening. While your leaders are fighting with each other, a lot of the folks that we call leaders, they got war going on. You got to pick between, they're talking about the lesser of two evils. I'm not doing that. I'm voting for me. You better vote for yourself. You got to be a little selfish, self-caring, take care of yourself, and what? Invest time in increasing your butterfly wing spread. Flap your wings, because your wings, your actions, are what's going to carry you to the next level, And what you do and what you say is you flapping your wings, And that wing, right? The left wing is sending information on one side, and the right wing is sending information on the other side. When they come together, you have oneness. When you take yourself and realize that you're connected to everybody, nothing is separate. Nothing is separate. Nothing is by chance. It's not just happening. You are the happening. We are the happening. Once we come together and get out of meism and get into weism, we realize that we affect everything. That butterfly flapping its wings can affect a storm or create love and harmony on the other side of the world. Guess what? You got wings too. You have imaginal cells too. Once you're ready to really do this and get out of the language of struggle and the language of pain and the language of victimhood. Oh my gosh. I mean, we know everybody's got trauma. I don't know anybody that don't have no trauma.